All right, so I have over 30 units, and over the years of becoming a real estate investor, I've learned a lot. And one of the biggest lessons is how to properly manage my rentals. It saved me a lot of time and headache, and honestly, I'm still learning. In this video, I'm gonna share with you my 5 best tips to managing your real estate portfolio and your rental properties. For those who don't know me, I'm Dominique Pereira, AKA Ask Domna, anywhere your internet connectivity ties you into the world. So check me out. I do real estate investing, lifestyle blogging, and vlogging when I can. I'm still new to this digital content thing. I've just been living my life, and over the years, people have told me, wow, you should really record that. So I'm doing it now. And one of my biggest passions, and one thing that you'll see as a recurring theme throughout all my social media and this YouTube channel, is my love of real estate investing. One big lesson that I learned is that, yeah, I can get 12, 13, 14% growth in the stock market. But granted, I didn't have much money to start with. So 12% of a little is still just a little bit more. But with real estate, I've been able to multiply my net worth to the millions of dollars, fortunately. And one thing that comes with that benefit is the stress of managing my properties and my rental units. So I'm gonna get right into it. No fluff other than what I've already given you. I don't know if this is in the right order for everybody, because everybody's personalities, their tolerances is different. So what's important to me and certain things that I just really want to resolve might be slightly different for you. This is the order that I think some of these things are very important, but I guess take the numbers with a grain of salt, because they can really just all be mixed and matched for your personal needs. But number one, the best thing that I could have done in managing my rental properties is use an automated system for managing my tenants and my properties. I personally use Buildium.com. They don't sponsor this video, so everything I'm gonna say here is just my personal opinion. But Buildium has been great. Allows me to invite the tenants to be able to track their rent. They can pay their rents on Buildium so that they're not sending me checks or Venmo and Cash Apps, and I don't have to keep track and figure out in a spreadsheet who paid this month, who didn't. Buildium automatically tallies everything up. It shows them when their rents are due, if they have any other fees associated with their tenancy. It automatically also puts late payments in for me. I mean, I think I'm a good landlord, and sometimes maybe 2 nights where I don't charge late fees when I'm supposed to. Buildium takes all that hassle away, and it puts it in there. It charges people what they're supposed to be charged, when they're supposed to be charged. And tenants can also put in requests for maintenance in there. You can put your contractors that you work with as contractor users in Buildium so that they also get the request. So if you have a relationship with somebody that you work with, well, it can streamline that whole communication. You can list your properties on there, and I can go on and on about the benefits of how I've been using Buildium, and I definitely recommend them to anybody looking to manage your portfolio. And just having that one tool has saved me so much stress and headache, and just keeping track with who paid rent and when. And if you have a significant portfolio, are gonna get there, you're gonna realize that people don't always pay on the first, and they don't always pay the entire rent. Some people are gonna make 3 or 4 payments of paying last month's rent. Some people are paying future rent. There's assistance programs that are sending you 4 months at a time. You have to document all of that and keep track of security deposits. Make sure that you have a platform that just streamlines that. Now, my biggest critique of that particular software is that while it does a great job in tracking the income, it doesn't really do a great job of tracking my expenses. When I have an issue and a request, yes, my contractor can be put in there and he can see it and he can do the work, but it doesn't really streamline how he's gonna invoice me and if I can pay him through Buildium so that I can have an accurate really accounting of how much money I'm making versus how much money I'm putting out, as well as how I pay my taxes and all of that. I'm sure with the updates, there are going to be improving features and so forth. It wasn't the most user-friendly to learn, but once I did, I've been rocking ever since. But maybe if I see better enhancements on how to pay some of these expenses that are associated with just owning an apartment building and multiple properties, that will make my day when that happens. Number 2, best thing to do when you're managing your rental portfolio. Well, you got to start it from the beginning of your rental, which is your background and your credit checks and your references. I can't tell you how important those are. Make sure that you really use your due diligence or do your due diligence in figuring out who's going to be coming into your building. This part is especially tricky because a background check doesn't really get everything that hasn't been publicly recorded. If somebody had a bad experience at their previous apartment or whatever rental, but they didn't go to court, then you probably won't know that. Or if somebody has bad credit, but it's because of, let's say, school debt from way back, or I see a lot of medical bills, is that really indicative of how they're gonna pay your rent versus a $300,000 medical bill that they really don't have an intention of paying? So it really depends on the situation. And referrals, this is difficult because they're only gonna give you people who they think are gonna speak favorably of them. So you have to do your due diligence and see who these people are and what information is out there. But once you start looking into, well, yeah, your credit isn't great, but you have paid your utilities that are reported, you've paid your credit cards, your car payments on time, you defaulted on a credit card 6 years ago, so maybe you are really credit worthy for my property. Or your background came out clean, but let me know the addresses that you've lived in previously and you do your part to reach out to those property owners and get their unbiased opinion. One thing that I did find, this is a pro tip. If you're reaching out to a place that somebody is leaving and that property owner doesn't necessarily want them there anymore, they might be reluctant to talk bad about them because really they don't want you to deny them because they want them out of their hair, if that makes sense. You just gotta really speak with your tenants, get to know what they do, not only for a living, but for life. Get to know their personalities because they are going to be the primary responsible people for your property. Your hard work, sometimes your life savings, you're putting it in somebody's hand. So don't be shy about asking questions. Make sure you do know what tenants' rights are so that you're not practicing any discriminatory actions, but don't be afraid to say, hey, this is the type of place that I run. This is the type of environment that I want in my establishment. Does that work for you? And ask questions. Why were you here for this long and here for that long? Have you had issues? What issues have you had? Make sure that you really drill down and figure out the right tenant for you. Number 3, you have to let your tenants know that you will be doing regular walkthroughs throughout the property. I personally prefer to do a quarterly walkthrough. And even if it's not me for my properties that I'm managing from a different state, well, I have a contractor go out there, I have my property manager walk the properties quarterly, or whatever time frame works best for you. Because once your tenant knows that somebody's gonna be coming out there on a regular schedule, they tend to keep the property in better condition because they know somebody's gonna be coming. Some people just are living a different type of life than what you would expect or really want from somebody who's living in your property. People are dirty in some cases and you won't know that until you actually see it firsthand. It doesn't matter what their background or their credit check said. You have to see how your property is being kept up with and any issues that come up with that, it's better to catch it early. There is no sense in waiting until the end, 12 months from once they came in, to find out that they were having all sorts of things happening in your unit and you were willfully ignorant of it. One other thing that I've also noticed is that people, especially when they're behind on rent, or if they just aren't that confrontational, or if they think that by them letting you know some issues, you won't renew their lease, they hold on to issues that might be damaging your property and don't tell you about it. I've literally had tenants that let me know, oh yeah, that back room floods, only after I walked in and asked them about some marks that I saw. Like, that flooding happens there? What? Why didn't you tell me? How long has this been going on? I would rather resolve that now than wait for it to get progressively worse. So please do your scheduled walkthrough and let your tenants know that you will be a present figure in their tenancy. And if not you, somebody that you trust and work with. Number 4, it rolls right into number 3. Number 4 is preventative maintenance. Catch issues early and catch them quick. Once you start walking your properties regularly, you're gonna find issues that need to be resolved. Don't wait to fix any leaks or electrical issues. It'll save you a lot of time, money, and headache in the long run if you start to repair your property issues early. If you find that your tenant has a hole in their wall that they caused, and you know that it's gonna have to be repaired anyways once they leave, honestly, it's fine to leave that, depending on how big the hole is and where it is, and as long as it's not causing any threats to the building. But if you see cracks that start appearing, or if you see leaks that are happening, if your roof is damaged in some way, or your windows aren't closing and shifting, fix those issues early and fast, because those things compound and get progressively more expensive. It's sometimes cheaper to repair than to replace. If you have things that you can repair and they can last you a longer time, versus you letting it just get to a place where it's so degraded that you have to replace it and all those costs are just gonna happen at one time, it's gonna make your life as a landlord and as a property owner that much easier. The last piece of advice, and number 5 thing for managing your rental properties, is to buy right. It starts with buying the right property at the right price. Once you have a property that the numbers make sense and you know that you're gonna be making money month over month through your positive cash flow, and you're gonna be making money in your appreciation throughout the property, it makes it easier and it makes more sense to repair some of the things that we've talked about. It makes it easier to invest in the proper software and property manager, because your property numbers, your investment makes sense. There's nothing like putting money into an investment that's losing every month and you still have to fix it. And then you have tenants that might decide not to pay rent. So now you're thinking to yourself, do I really even want to continue in this endeavor? Well, the answer is where you started. Does this property make sense at the numbers that I have them at? And if the answer is yes, then the rest might not be as easy as some people want to picture it to be, but it certainly will be easier than not. So buy your property right. It allows you to put money aside. If you've been looking into real estate investing, inevitably you would have heard of CapEx and putting money away from maintenance. But most people don't do it. They just don't have the resources in their portfolio to make it happen. This channel is dedicated to letting my followers and subscribers know my experiences in real estate investing and property management. All these things that I discussed today are firsthand experience and accounts. I've made all, if not more, of these mistakes myself, and now I teach people what's worked for me, how I've been able to scale my portfolio and make a living out of real estate investing and rental management. So all of this is just free content for you guys to really learn from. And all I ask is if you get any sort of value from it, well, just pay me with a subscribe and a like down below. Comment, engage with me. Let me know what you want to hear about and what you think of the videos. How can I make it better? This is new to me. I've been real estate investing, and I have a technology firm that I've been growing for the last decade. That's been working out, and I find that to be easier than getting in front of the camera sometimes and talking about the experiences. So I love and appreciate your feedback. My name is Dominique Pereira. You can find me at AskDomNat anywhere you have an internet connection. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the other side.